But here is what made this case different from the very beginning. Minutes, and I mean minutes, before Mia was found in that driveway, she had been on Facebook Live, arguing publicly with a man the streets knew as Youngster, and by the time the sun came up over Birmingham that morning, the entire internet had already decided who did it. The only problem with that? They were wrong. But before we get into all of that, we need to talk about who Mia actually was, because this story does not start on January 10th, 2024. It starts much earlier than that. Mia Chardell Nixon was born on October 19, 2002. She grew up right there in Birmingham's Crestwood neighborhood, and from early on, she had a gift hair, nails, beauty. That was her world. By the time she was 21 years old, she had already earned certifications, built a loyal client base, and was known across Birmingham for the precision and creativity she brought to her work. Her clients kept coming back, and they kept sending people her way because she was simply that good at what she did. The dream she talked about openly, the one she was actively working toward, was opening her own salon one day. And on social media, Mia was alive in every sense of the word. She posted regularly. She connected with her followers. She went live often sometimes for what she called story times, sometimes for tea times, just sharing her.
Oh, so we got these in every hood. These is one of them girls that's just in the hood. She probably do hair, nails. She probably a socialite, get to a little bag, whatever, and probably do a lot of partying and know a lot of niggas in the hood. You know what I mean? She's one of those. Them archetypes is all over the place, but we got these all over.
Her personality, her world. People were drawn to her energy. Officer Truman Fitzgerald of the Birmingham Police Department would later describe her publicly as beloved, talented, and really excelling in the hair and nail field. Now here is where the story gets complicated.
What you know about?
Because alongside the
what this nigga know about hair and nails? Officer Dick Gregory, Dick Johnson, Dick Tracy.
Image of this hardworking, talented young woman, there were questions that the people of Birmingham were asking long before January 2024. For someone who was 21 years old and still building her beauty business from the ground up, Mia seemed to have access to a lifestyle that went beyond what most people in her position could explain. Designer pieces, high-end jewelry, photos on social media showing large amounts of cash. Now I want to be very clear here. Okay. Allegations are not convictions. Rumors are not facts. And a young woman's lifestyle is not evidence of anything on its own. But the whispers in Birmingham were persistent. And eventually, those whispers attached a name to Mia that would follow her for the rest of her life. They called her the Birmingham Setup Queen. In street terms, a setup queen is a woman who allegedly gets close to men, particularly men who are known to carry money or valuables, and then positions them to be robbed by associates waiting nearby. Now, no official record ever confirmed Mia's direct involvement in any such activity. What existed were allegations, street talk, rumors that circulated through Birmingham and eventually made their way onto social media. But here is the question worth sitting with when...
Hold on, so all y'all don't know, to break it down in layman's terms, she is the one who the niggas be like, yo, listen, if you catch anybody flashing money, showing money or whatever, you give us this, you call us, you heard? You bring him to where we at and we gonna rob his ass. You gonna get up out of there, we gonna rob you too, whatever, however they wanna make it look. That's how they do that. That's usually how those things go down. They're the limey girls. They're the ones you wanna watch, man. Allegedly, if that's what she was doing, because we never know.
A nickname like that attaches itself to you in the streets. What does that mean for your safety? And then came December 2nd, 2022. More than a year before her death, Mia came face to face with something that would change her life completely. She eventually talked about that night herself, publicly, in her own words. And I want you to hear exactly what she said.
Okay, this is story time about how I got shot over there.
So this is what she lied to do, allegedly.
We was talking for like a couple months over there. So he used to always be in my car, like ride around in my car. We used to always be together, riding around, stuff like that.
Together.
So
she said that together.
This day, he told me to follow this dude so he can buy some pills. So we followed the dude so he could buy the pills, so we didn't buy the pills. It's me, him, and his homeboy in the car. So
mess.
Soon as we like get to the red light, we was at the red light, like all we had to do was just turn around and boom, you at the red light from where we was. So we get to the red light. he trying to put the location in my phone so we can go to where we was finna go. So it was shooting, but me, I didn't think that they was like shooting like at us, because while they were shooting, they were driving up. So when they were far back,
just
it
thought you was
just
in the
sounded
shootout.
like it was somewhere else. So when the bullets started coming through the car, that's when one of the bullets, when the bullets started coming through the car, I hit the gas, but one of the bullets hit me. It went from the back of my head, through my ear, and across my face. So that, like, I heard a loud
Damn.
pop, and then, like, you know, the ringing that you hear in your ear, that's what I heard. Like, my ear just started ringing real loud, and I just blacked out. So once I blacked out,
Oh, they warmed
I
up.
crashed into a tree. So when I hit the tree, I went like this, like, that's what woke, like, kind of came, let me come back to country. So I woke up, and instantly I just opened the door, and then his homeboy that was in the back seat, he jumped out, and I got out, but I instantly fell to the ground, and he was like, Mia, get up, and I couldn't get up. Like, I don't know how long I was on the ground, like, I just was unconscious. So that's when I just hop up. So when I hop up, I open the back door, and I laid in the back seat for like 2 seconds, but then I remembered that he was in my front seat. So I jump up, and I'm looking for my phone. I'm just looking for my phone. So I find his phone, and I'm screaming his name. I'm like, I can't say his name, but, you know, like, I'm just screaming his name. I'm like, what's your password? What's your password? I got to call the police. I'm like, what's your password? What's your
What
password?
you screaming?
Once, like, I kept calling him, and I was trying to, like, just make sure that we all was okay. So, like, that's when I'm just screaming his name. I knew, like, once he wasn't answering me, he was gone. So, like, the people from across the street, it was a store across the street, like, the people from across the street, they come over. So I'm screaming our names. I'm just trying to let them know who he was. I'm just screaming our names. I'm like, please just call my mama. Please, like, just call mama. And I'm going to do a part 2 on what has happened that night. So.
She was screaming for her mama from the back seat of a car with a bullet wound that went from the back of her head, through her ear, and across.
On top of that, she left out mad details, like who was blinking at you, even though she ain't got to tell us who was blinking at us, because we don't want you telling them on the joint. But what reason was you getting blinked at for? Did you know you was going to get blinked at? Was people looking for you? Like, what is you in? You feel me? Like, what type of shit is you in? Let the people know. You holding that out?
The man in the front seat never answered her. He was gone.
Okay, so this part 2, they put me on the,
where they put
me in the ambulance, so they put me on the bed, put me in, I'm sure, So I'm just asking them the whole time, like, am I gonna die? Am I gonna be okay? Please just tell me, am I gonna die? I was like, am I gonna be okay? So, like, I was so swole, so, like, the pressure from everything was just making me, like, so sleepy. So I'm telling myself, I'm like, you can't go to sleep. You got to stay up. I'm like, you got to stay up, because I know once you go to sleep, that means, like, you're dying. Like, once you feel sleepy, that means you're dying. So, like, I'm like, I just got to stay up. So they finally rolled me in the hospital. And I just remember, like, a warm blanket coming over me, because they had cut all my clothes off, and I was just, like, completely nude. So, like, they rolled me in there, and then they just put a blanket over me. So, like, that's when I'm just going in and out of consciousness. They doing my chest like this. They just doing my chest like this. So once they started doing it, I, like, instantly just came to my senses, like, hell no. Like, you got to get this shit together. Like, I'm trying to just breathe right and just do everything right so I can stay woke and stay alert. So I was going in and out of CAT scans. I remember waking up in one CAT scan, but the accident happened at 8 p.m. I didn't leave the hospital till 6 a.m. the next morning. So as soon as I got rolled out of the hospital, all my family was there. Oh, now let me go back. They was stitching my ear up, and I remember screaming so loud. Like, I never been through nothing like that. I never broke no bones, never had to get stitches, anything. So they was stitching my ear up. I'm screaming because it hurted. Like, I thought they put you to sleep for stuff like that. So finally, it was time for me to get discharged, and they rolled me out the hospital. I see all my family, all my friends. Like, I just was so relieved. Like, I just knew, like, this is my second chance. Like, it was just unbelievable. So instantly, I'm asking, what happened to the boy that I talked to. I'm asking, like, what happened to him? Is he okay? Where he at? Like, I'm just asking a million questions. Nobody wanted to tell me nothing. So finally, my friend, she just told me, she was like, Mia, he gone. I just instantly, like, broke down, like.
She broke down because she had spent the whole night fighting to stay alive while he was already gone. The bullet that hit Mia that night left her with permanent hearing damage in her right ear and vision loss in her right eye, and her doctors told her it could have been significantly worse. That case, the December 2022 shooting that nearly took her life, was never solved. No suspects, no arrests, no answers. It went cold. Now I want to ask a genuine question here, and I don't ask it to be harsh. I ask it because it matters to understanding this story. When someone survives something that traumatic, what does it take to make a different choice about the life you're living? Because Mia came back. She got back to work. Hair appointments, nail clients, social media, nightlife, the same energy she had always carried.
To the face,
and
Curtis
on October
Jackson
1st, 2023, less than a year after surviving that shooting, Leeds police arrested Mia on drug trafficking charges. Her bond was set at $40,000. A 21-year-old posted that bond without hesitation, and for people who had already been asking questions about where her money was coming from, that detail did not go unnoticed. She kept
$40,000. She had a $40,000 what bill? What? $40,000 bill. So it's that 10%. They paid what, $4,000 to get out. Stripper money, whatever she was doing, feasible.
Kept
within the
moving,
rights.
kept showing up, kept living out loud, and the streets kept watching. Which brings us to the early hours of January 10th, 2024. Mia was home. Her family was inside the house. Her cousin, her aunt, 2 younger relatives. A regular night by all appearances. She got in her car, parked in the driveway of the family home on Greencrest Turn, and she went live. What started as a casual broadcast with her followers that night took a turn that nobody, not even Mia, could have fully anticipated. A man who went by the name Youngster joined the live, and whatever had been building between these two in the weeks prior came to a head right there on camera, in front of everyone. The accusations flew. She was allegedly involved in situations where people got set up, and Mia, true to everything anyone ever said about her personality, was not about to back down from anything being thrown at her. The live
ugly on live.
Mia stayed in her car, and 34 minutes later, she was gone. We are going to walk through every single minute of what happened in between, because those 34 minutes hold the answers to everything. It is just after 1 o'clock in the morning on January 10th, 2024. Mia is sitting in her car, parked in the driveway of her family's home on Greencrest Turn. The house is occupied, her cousin is inside her aunt, 2 younger relatives. She is live on Facebook. The broadcast is casual at first, comments flooding in, hearts and reactions filling the screen, just Mia being Mia, connecting with her followers the way she always did. And then Youngster shows up in the comments. Now Mia and Youngster were not strangers. They moved through the same Birmingham circles, the same nightlife, the same parties. They knew the same people and understood the same world. But whatever had been simmering between them beneath the surface came up fast that night. The accusations on that live were direct. She was allegedly involved in setting someone up, someone connected to him. And the tone made it clear this was not a casual disagreement between 2 people who barely knew each other. This was personal, and Mia was not quiet about it. Here is what the people watching that live heard.
And the police come get you for robberies and everything else. Don't y'all think they would have came and got me? Don't y'all think they would have got these phones and seen my location and seen where I was? Them folks just surrounded the projects and got my home. Ain't showing my picture, saying where he at. Police just surrounded us. Talking about, stop playing me on God, on that lane store. You see the girl had all typing on, and I ain't even finna talk about her on Newcomb, ain't. I ain't finna say nothing else about her. But it's other going on with that little situation. Stop playing with me like that. Ain't no way this girl still in the car. 45 minutes after alive, 30 minutes after alive. So you think this girl just sitting outside? You think she just sitting outside in the car?
You saying she finna be outside her car waiting on us to pull up?
That's what I'm saying.
This girl got shot outside her
outside the car. And it went that many shots a night. That's what's up close and personal. Somebody made that.
So what they making it seem like is she was beefing with him on live. And after the live ended, they ran up on it and put it in. Body the
girl, come back outside, man. Stop playing me like y'all dumb. Oh, no. That girl had a champion. Stop playing on me. Do nothing to that girl. I don't even know what this girl saying. Stupid talking on that hoe. He just making up. Everything he said, he just making up. On new. That boy said, hey, twin. That boy said a bando by that city. What? He said what? We was in the bando by that city when we was online this morning. Well, you know what we was? Man. You know what we was? Man, stop playing on me, man.
Bring the towers out.
That's what I'm saying.
Tie with the phone.
Tie with the phone, man.
Tie with the phone.
Tie with the phones, man.
Oh yeah, nah, he telling the truth.
Bro, I never said one
So
time I was
doing
in
all that,
Atlanta. What
saying
you
all
talking about? When I said I was in Atlanta? Who else heard me say I was in the A? Who else heard me say I was in the A?
No fake page comment on blood.
Somebody that was on the line, who heard me say I was in? Well, I never once said I was in no Atlanta.
He is defending himself before anyone has formally accused him of anything. He is explaining his location,
Somebody said
his
something
phones,
to him.
his alibi, all of it
Or
volunteered
he read
publicly on social media.
comment that
And then he
said
says
something
something that the internet locked
One
onto
brother.
immediately.
Ain't no way this girl still in the car. 45 minutes out there alive, 30 minutes out there alive. So you think this girl just sitting outside? You think she just sitting outside in the car?
You saying she finna be outside her car waiting on us to pull up?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he more than likely responded to a comment. As somebody said, somebody probably implicated him in something.
Outside the car. Even when they did the shots tonight. Look close, look personal. Somebody made that girl come back outside, man. Stop playing me like.
Somebody made that girl come back outside. Those are
How you
very
know?
specific details about a crime scene that had not yet been described publicly by law enforcement. No press conference, no official statement breaking down how this happened. So the question the entire city of Birmingham was asking was, where did that information come from? And Youngster was not the only one responding publicly that night. A Birmingham local known as Vito had something to say directly to Youngster, and he was not holding back.
Which one of your homeboys she set up? Because we already know that's you on them fake pages talking about what somebody set up. Y'all ain't sitting on the houses up. Then, now I'm finna throw a real cross. Hey, Petey, do you know job.An said y'all did this, boy? Do you know job.An is going around Birmingham telling people y'all can't wait from Arkadelphia to Crestwood to do something like that?
Now, none of this
you
was
sent up the
official.
river.
None of this was evidence. This was social media. People processing shock and grief and anger in real time, pointing fingers in every direction. But what it shows us is how fast this situation escalated publicly, and how many people in Birmingham already had opinions about what happened and who was responsible before law enforcement had released a single detail. The following day, January 11th, Youngster posted publicly again, and his tone had shifted. He went from defending himself in real time to going silent and letting the truth speak for itself. Whether that silence was guilt or wisdom, that is not for us to decide. What matters is what the investigation revealed. Let us walk through what actually happened in those 34 minutes between the end of that live stream and the moment Birmingham police received the 911 call. The live ended at approximately 1:30 in the morning. At 1:32 a.m., security camera footage from a neighboring property captured Mia exiting her home, moving toward the driveway. She appeared agitated. Her family members inside the house noticed, but nobody intervened. There was no reason to believe in that moment that what was about to happen was about to happen. At 1:43 a.m., a dark-colored vehicle appeared on Greencrest Turn, headlights off, tinted windows, moving slowly. Security footage from a neighboring home captured what happened next, but the quality of the footage could not identify the make, model, or how many people were inside. What it did capture was Mia approaching the vehicle, stopping approximately 10 feet away. A brief exchange, and then multiple shots were fired. Mia collapsed immediately. The vehicle's headlights came on. It turned right at the end of Greencrest Turn and disappeared into the Birmingham night. At 1:45 a.m., the 911 call came in. It was Mia's cousin, voice shaking. Birmingham police and Birmingham Fire and Rescue responded. When they arrived, they found Mia unresponsive in the driveway of her family's home. Life-saving measures were attempted. At 2:04 a.m., she was pronounced deceased at the scene. She was 21 years old. 4 family members were inside that house on Greencrest Turn that night, physically unharmed, but forever changed by what they found when they came outside after hearing those shots. And what the investigation revealed in the immediate hours that followed was this 5 shell casings found in the street, not on the driveway. The shooter never left the vehicle. They came specifically for her, pulled up and handled it from inside the car. This was not a confrontation that got out of hand. This was not a random act of violence. Birmingham police made that clear from the very beginning. Detective findings confirmed early in the investigation Mia Nixon was targeted. In the weeks that followed, Birmingham police worked every lead they had: digital forensics, neighborhood canvassing, security footage review, phone record analysis, and the public appeals began.
Nothing's too small. We know the streets are talking. We know Mia was extremely popular, but our detectives need that information. So anything you have, please call that into Crime Stoppers.
Months passed, no arrest, no named suspect, no official confirmation of a motive. The internet had its theories. The streets were talking, but officially, the case remained open. And then on February 25th, 2025, more than a year after Mia was found in that driveway, Birmingham police made an announcement. They had obtained a warrant. A suspect had been identified and charged in connection with Mia's death, and the name they announced was not Youngster. The man charged with the intentional murder of Mia Shardell Nixon was 22-year-old Damian Laren McDaniel of Fairfield, Alabama. He was already in the custody of the Alabama Department of Corrections when the warrant came through, held without bond. And here is where this case stops being just the story of one young woman in one driveway on one January night, because by the time Damian McDaniel's name was attached to Mia's case, investigators had already connected him to something far larger than any single incident. Birmingham police also announced that the charges in Mia's case and in the case of a UPS worker named Anthony Love Jr. were being investigated and charged as murder for hire. Not a crime of passion, not a spontaneous act of violence after a heated argument on Facebook Live. Someone allegedly paid to have Mia Nixon killed, and the man they allegedly paid was Damian McDaniel, which means the Facebook Live that night, the argument with Youngster, may have had absolutely nothing to do with why Mia died. The order to take her life may have already been placed before she ever went live. Who placed that order? What was the connection between Mia and Damian McDaniel? And who in Birmingham wanted her gone badly enough to pay for it? To understand who Damian McDaniel is, you have to understand where he came from. Because nobody is born into violence without a story behind it, and that does not excuse anything. But it does explain some things. Damian Laron. McDaniel was born on July 6th, 2002. He grew up in Fairfield, Alabama, a small city sitting just outside Birmingham. He attended Fairfield High Preparatory School. His father, Damian Laren McDaniel Sr., has been in federal prison since 2013, serving a 26-year sentence for cocaine trafficking and being a felon in possession of a firearm. His father's arrest came after a 6-hour standoff with United...
I'm sorry, but that nigga look like Caesar's man from Black Ink. What's his name? Was Caesar man from Black Ink named Teddy? That nigga look like Big Teddy in the face ass.
United States Marshals in Adamsville, Alabama. Court records describe the elder McDaniel as a former leader of the Bloods gang in the Fairfield area. When Damian McDaniel was just 5 years old, his father was charged in connection with the fatal shooting of a 23-year-old man in Fairfield. That same man had allegedly been set on fire 2 months prior. That case was never prosecuted. Damian McDaniel grew up without his father in the home. His father was scheduled for release in 2037. By the time Damian was a teenager, he was already in the system himself. In October 2019, at just 17 years old, he was arrested at Fairfield High School after 2 people were shot. He was charged with 2 counts of attempted murder. What happened next matters enormously to this entire story. In April 2023, after years of court proceedings, Damian McDaniel pleaded guilty to both counts of attempted murder. He received a 15-year sentence, but it was structured as 2 years of actual incarceration, 55, with the remaining 13 years suspended, followed by 3 years of probation. With time already served while awaiting trial, he was released. Less than 3 months after his release, the killing attributed to Damian McDaniel began. July 12, 2023, Birmingham Fire and Rescue Station 9, Norwood neighborhood. 2 firefighters, Jordan Melton and Sergeant Jamal Jones, were on duty, performing routine morning maintenance in the bay area with the bay door open. An unknown individual entered through that open bay door. Jordan Melton was shot. He died 5 days later on July 17, 2023.
Wow.
He had been with Birmingham Fire and Rescue for just over a year. He had
You said
recently
firefighters?
completed his recruit academy.
They ain't got no
Jamal
beef with
Jones
firefighters,
survived,
people.
but sustained serious injuries that changed his life. Investigators later determined that Jordan Melton had been subpoenaed as a witness in an unrelated murder trial, a trial connected to a man named Larry Rollins, who himself would later be charged alongside McDaniel in a separate case. Jordan Melton was not just a firefighter
blast
doing
voice
his
in the
job
face
that
ass.
morning. He was allegedly a target specifically
War
because
turtle
of
head
what
ass.
he knew.
22-year-old Damian McDaniel of Fairfield, Alabama, has been charged with capital murder of a first responder and attempted murder of a second firefighter. It has been 19 months since the tragic incident occurred, and we empathize with the families that have been affected. The Birmingham Police Department is unwavering in our commitment to solving all homicide cases.
The cases kept coming. November 27th, 2023, 52-year-old Reginald Bryant was shot and killed in what investigators described as a targeted attack.
he was a
Damian
serial.
McDaniel and 30-year-old Lorenzo Wiley were both charged with capital murder in connection with his death. February 14th, 2024, Valentine's Day. A young couple, Angelia Webster and Christian Norris, both 20 years old, were expecting their first child together. A baby boy they had already chosen a name for. They were going to name him Seven. Angelia, Christian, and their unborn son all lost their lives that day. Their bodies were discovered 3 days later on February 17th inside their car.
Now, was all these murder for hires, or was he running around on some 44 caliber killers? Because that's crazy. He done dropped like 6 people. I done counted 4, 5, 6 people. And kids, he's wilding.
In May 2025, Damian McDaniel was charged with capital murder in connection with all 3 of their deaths. A baby who never got to take a single breath, named
That's bananas.
Seven, gone before the world ever knew he existed. April 9th, 2024, 44-year-old Anthony Lamar Love Jr., a husband, a father, a man who had given nearly 20 years of his life working at UPS.
He wasn't even
He was
taking a
leaving
break
his
with it.
shift at the UPS customer center on Inglenook Lane,
boy
walking
was
through
going
the
from
parking
body to
lot
body
toward
to
his
body.
vehicle just after 6 in the evening. He never made it to his car. Damian McDaniel and 41-year-old Charles Darius Nance were both charged with capital murder in Anthony's case, under the murder for hire statute. Court records state that Nance provided information to Damian McDaniel to shoot Anthony Lamar Love Jr. with a firearm pursuant to a contract for hire. Someone paid to have a UPS worker killed in a parking lot after his shift. A man who had done nothing more than show up to work for 20 years. July
clipping somebody,
13th,
girl.
2024, a birthday party at a venue on the 3400 block of 27th Street North in North Birmingham. An adult celebration. People who came out that night to mark a special occasion with people they loved. A drive-by shooting from outside the venue left 4 people dead and 10 others injured. The victims were 56-year-old Angela Weatherspoon of Center Point, 42-year-old Markeisha Gettings of Birmingham, 39-year-old Stevie McGee of Birmingham, and 24-year-old Lorandis Anderson of Center Point. Investigators later discovered that the venue itself was operating without a license. The city of Birmingham subsequently shut it down permanently through a court settlement. Damian McDaniel and 27-year-old Hatarius Woods were both charged with capital murder and 10 counts of first-degree assault in connection with that shooting. 2024, 5 Points South, one of
This
Birmingham's
boy
most
was
active nightlife districts.
Hitman
A Saturday night.
number
Hundreds of
007
people outside Hush Lounge on
3.0
Magnolia Avenue South.
in
Over
real
100
time.
shell casings were recovered at that scene. 4 people lost their lives: 21-year-old Anitra Holloman, 27-year-old Taj Booker, 27-year-old Carlos
Look at him.
McCain, and 26-year-old Roderick Lynn Patterson Jr. 17 others were injured.
Anitra was the person that held our family together. it has been a big difference by her being gone. She was an amazing girl. She was like my everything. Started calling her phone and it was just ringing.
She sent her daughter to an alumni picnic that afternoon. She never came home. Less than 24 hours after the 5 Points South shooting on September 22nd, 32-year-old Jamarcus Deshaun McIntyre was shot and killed on the 700 block of 81st Place South in the Eastlake area. 2 others were injured. Damian McDaniel, along with multiple co-defendants, were charged in connection with his death as well. From July 2023 through September 2024, a span of 14 months, Damian McDaniel and his associates were connected to incidents that left approximately
18 people killed. That man is responsible for smoking 18 people. That's amazing. That's amazing. I don't even. That's amazing.
18 people dead and at least 30 others injured. Authorities stated that during the peak months of July through September 2024, Damian McDaniel was allegedly responsible for over 30% of all homicides in the city of Birmingham. One person, 30%. Now, before we go any further, I want to address something directly, because this community is smart and people have been asking questions. By the time Damian McDaniel's name came out in connection with Mia's case in February 2025, investigators had classified her murder as a murder for hire case, meaning the charge is not that Damian McDaniel had a personal grievance with Mia Nixon. The charge is that someone paid him to kill her. Who placed that order has not been publicly confirmed by law enforcement. The motive has not been officially disclosed, but there is a theory circulating in Birmingham, one that has been spoken about in the community, that Mia's October 2023 drug trafficking arrest may have created circumstances that made someone in that world feel exposed. Now that is community speculation. It has not been confirmed in court, and we present it as exactly that. But it is worth noting, because if true, it means the Facebook Live that night was never the reason she was targeted. It means someone had already made a decision about Mia Nixon long before she went live that night. And the argument with Youngster just happened to put a timestamp on her final hours. Youngster was never officially named a person of interest in Mia's case. He was never charged. The internet convicted him in real time, and the internet was wrong. In 2024, before his arrest, Damian McDaniel appeared in a YouTube documentary titled The Most Dangerous Place in Alabama, created by London-based documentarian Aaron Singh. The documentary had nearly 500,000 views. In that documentary, McDaniel spoke openly about violence and the mentality behind it.
Gonna do the same thing to you, so why not do it to them? Why show them compassion when they ain't gonna show your folk no compassion?
You want this?
For wait, they ain't gonna spare me. Get wait, when if they son end up dead and they come to court, they ain't gonna spare me in the courtroom. Hey, I know they gonna want.
He also expressed in that same documentary that he would feel no empathy for the mother of someone who had been killed. That was 2024. The same year, 4 people were killed at Trendsetters Lounge. The same year, Anthony Love Jr. was shot leaving work. The same year, a pregnant couple was killed on Valentine's
Day. So by the time he shot that documentary, he done had 12 bodies under his belt already.
Day. The same year, 4 more people were shot outside Fresh Lounge. When Damian McDaniel was arrested in October 2024, officers found 3 pounds of marijuana, a Glock 9mm handgun fitted with a machine conversion device, and a 100-round drum magazine, a Century Arms Mini Draco pistol, 2 additional firearms, and a 60-round AR-15 magazine. He was taken into custody in Fairfield. His probation from the 2019 case was formally revoked on December 12, 2024. He was assigned to Kilby Correctional Facility in Mount Meigs. As of today, Damian McDaniel is indicted on nearly 50 counts spanning both mass shootings: the deaths of Mia Nixon, firefighter Jordan Melton, Anthony Love Jr., Charlie Moore, Jamarcus McIntyre, Deontrinette Brown, and others. The state of Alabama is seeking the death penalty on all applicable capital murder counts. District Attorney Danny Carr made that position clear. His defense attorney, John Robbins, has maintained his client's innocence throughout. And in this country, in every courtroom, a person is presumed innocent until proven guilty. That principle matters. It matters for everyone. Trial date has been set, April 6th, 2026. The Trendsetters Lounge case goes first. No trial date has been set specifically for Mia's case yet. It remains part of the larger legal proceedings that Birmingham's court system is still working through. On January 14th, 2024, 4 days after Mia was found in that driveway, her family and community organized a balloon release in her honor. Her funeral was held on January 20th, 2024 at Wilma G. Harris Chapel, and on January 10th, 2025, exactly 1 year after her death, over 200 people gathered at Railroad Park in Birmingham for a candlelight vigil. Family members spoke, former clients spoke, anti-violence advocates spoke, everyone wore her face. And I want to speak directly to something that this community has been wrestling with since this story came out, because the comments and the conversations around Mia's case have been divided, and I understand why. There are people who mourn her deeply and remember a young woman with a gift and a dream and a laugh that lit up every room she walked into. And there are people who look at the choices she allegedly made and struggle to separate those choices from their grief. Both of those responses are human. But here is what I know to be true. A 21-year-old woman should not have been killed in her own driveway. Whatever she was involved in, alleged or confirmed, did not make her life worth less. Her family did not deserve to walk outside that night and find her there. Her mother did not deserve to bury her daughter at 21. And the lesson this story carries, the one that is uncomfortable but necessary, is that the streets do not offer protection to anyone, not even to the people who think they understand the rules, because there are no rules. There is no loyalty that holds when the stakes get high enough. There is no reputation that keeps you safe when someone has already made a decision about you. Mia survived a bullet that the doctors said should have killed her. She came back. She rebuilt herself. She relearned how to walk and talk and work with partial vision and partial hearing. She did all of that, and then she stayed in the same world that put that bullet in her in the first place. Mia's family has not stopped pushing for answers. They have sat through every court proceeding. They have worn her image. They have spoken her name in rooms where people would rather forget. Her father's words stay with me. We will not rest. We will not be silent. Mia deserves justice. Mia Shardell Nixon was born on October 19th, 2002. She wanted to open a salon. She loved her clients. She loved her community. She loved being seen and heard and connected to the people around her. She survived something that should have ended her story in 2022, and she spent every day after that genuinely believing that she had been spared for a bigger purpose. Maybe she was right. Maybe the purpose was this, that her story reaches somebody tonight who is standing at a crossroads, who is weighing a decision, who is telling themselves that they are smart enough or fast enough or connected enough to navigate something that has swallowed people far more experienced than them. If that is you, hear Mia, not the rumors, not the nickname the streets gave her. Hear the girl in that car at the red light screaming her mama's name. Hear the woman in the ambulance telling herself she could not go to sleep because going to sleep meant dying. Hear the 21-year-old who fought her way back from something devastating only to end up 15 feet from her own front door. If you have any information related to Mia's case, or any of the cases connected to this investigation, Crime Stoppers in Birmingham remains active. The line is anonymous. The number is 205-2547-777. You can also contact the Birmingham Police Department Homicide Division directly.
Justice to that woman. The truth come out. Like, share and subscribe up. We'll pick that back up after the trial.
You can also contact the Birmingham Police Department